History is replete with leaders who have left an indelible mark on the world. Some are remembered for their benevolence and wisdom, while others are etched in our memory for their ruthlessness and the suffering they inflicted. These figures cast a long shadow, synonymous with brutality and oppression. This essay delves into the life and reign of one such leader, exploring the factors that shaped their ascent to power, the chilling events under their rule, and the enduring consequences of their actions. By understanding the darkest chapters of our past, we can strive to prevent their repetition. The leader in question, whose name will be revealed in due course, did not rise to prominence overnight. Their path to absolute power was paved with cunning, opportunism, and a ruthless disregard for human life. Often, individuals of this ilk emerge from the shadows, capitalizing on societal unrest, economic instability, or political vacuums to seize control. Our subject was no different, possessing a potent blend of charisma and ruthlessness that proved irresistible to a populace yearning for stability and direction. They understood the power of propaganda, skillfully manipulating the media and employing inflammatory rhetoric to sway public opinion and consolidate their grip on power. Their ascent was often marked by violence and intimidation, silencing dissent and eliminating rivals with chilling efficiency. Those who dared to oppose their agenda were swiftly dealt with, their fates serving as a grim warning to any who contemplated resistance. With their authority firmly established, the true nature of the leader's regime became horrifyingly clear. The policies enacted were designed to systematically dismantle any opposition and instill fear in the hearts of the populace. Basic freedoms were eroded, replaced by a suffocating atmosphere of paranoia and suspicion. Arbitrary arrests, torture, and executions became commonplace as the regime sought to crush any semblance of dissent. The leader's inner circle, often composed of individuals driven by ambition and fear, played a pivotal role in perpetuating the cycle of violence and oppression. One of the hallmarks of this reign of terror was the creation of a vast network of prisons and labor camps, where perceived enemies of the state were incarcerated without trial and subjected to unimaginable horrors. These camps became synonymous with human suffering, their very names striking fear into the hearts of those unfortunate enough to be sent there. It is impossible to fully comprehend the magnitude of suffering inflicted during this dark chapter in history. The human cost of the leader's reign of terror is staggering, measured in millions of lives extinguished and countless others irrevocably shattered. Families were torn apart, their loved ones vanishing into the abyss of the regime's vast prison system. Communities were decimated, their social fabric irreparably damaged by suspicion and fear. The sheer scale of the atrocities committed defies comprehension, leaving an enduring scar on the collective consciousness of humanity. Beyond the raw numbers, it is essential to remember that each life lost represents a unique individual with their own dreams, aspirations, and loved ones left behind to mourn their passing. Their stories serve as a poignant reminder of the devastating impact of tyranny and the fragility of human life. Section 5. A World in Turmoil, the historical context of cruelty. To truly understand the rise and reign of this ruthless leader, we must consider the historical context in which they operated. The world was in a state of flux, grappling with the aftermath of global conflict and economic depression. These turbulent times created fertile ground for extremist ideologies and charismatic leaders who promised stability and a return to greatness. The leaders skillfully exploited these anxieties, presenting themselves as a savior figure who could restore order and prosperity. They tapped into deep-seated prejudices and nationalistic sentiments, scapegoating minority groups and external enemies to consolidate their power. Moreover, the international community was slow to recognize the true nature of the regime and the threat it posed. Appeasement and a reluctance to intervene allowed the leader to consolidate their power and expand their sphere of influence, with devastating consequences for millions. Section 6. The Heart of Darkness, Unraveling the motives of a tyrant. Unraveling the motivations of a tyrant is a complex and often unsettling endeavor. While it is tempting to attribute their actions solely to inherent evil or psychopathy, the reality is often far more nuanced. In the case of our subject, a potent cocktail of ideology, paranoia, and a lust for power fueled their reign of terror. They were driven by a utopian vision, however twisted, believing that their actions were justified in pursuit of a greater good. This unwavering belief in their own righteousness blinded them to the suffering they inflicted, allowing them to rationalize even the most heinous acts. Furthermore, their paranoia ran deep, leading them to see enemies everywhere and fueling a climate of suspicion and fear. They were obsessed with maintaining control, crushing any perceived threat to their authority with ruthless efficiency. Section 7. The Shadow of Tyranny, a legacy of repression and fear. The legacy of a tyrant is often a complex and enduring one. Long after they are gone, the scars of their rule continue to shape the political, social, and cultural landscape of a nation. The leader in question is no exception, their name forever synonymous with repression, cruelty, and the fragility of human rights. The shadow of their tyranny lingered long after their demise, casting a pall over subsequent generations. Trust in institutions was shattered, replaced by cynicism and a deep-seated fear of authority. The wounds of the past ran deep, hindering reconciliation and impeding the nation's ability to heal. However, amidst the darkness, there were also flickers of hope. The resilience of the human spirit shone through as survivors bravely shared their stories and fought to ensure that such atrocities would never be forgotten or repeated. Section 8. Conclusion: Remembering the Past, Shaping the Future. The study of history is not merely an academic exercise, it is a vital tool for understanding the present and shaping the future. By confronting the darkest chapters of our past, we gain a deeper appreciation for the fragility of peace, the importance of human rights, and the dangers of unchecked power. The story of this ruthless leader serves as a stark reminder that the path to tyranny is often paved with good intentions, and that even in the most civilized societies, the potential for barbarity lurks beneath the surface. It is a cautionary tale about the seductive nature of power, the dangers of silence, and the importance of vigilance in safeguarding our freedoms. By remembering the victims, honoring their memory, and learning from the mistakes of the past, we can strive to create a world where such horrors are relegated to the history books, never to be repeated. The pursuit of justice, equality, and human dignity is an ongoing endeavor, one that requires constant effort and unwavering commitment from each generation. Let us ensure that the sacrifices of those who suffered under this reign of terror were not in vain.